This podcast is supported by Music Theater of Wenatchee, celebrating 64 years of bringing stories to life. From show-stopping musicals to powerful plays, the Music Theater of Wenatchee stage is where stories come alive. Now they are writing the next chapter, and you can help make it happen, thanks to the McQuaig Matching Funx expansion project. To support the next act of community theater in Wenatchee, visit annex.mtow.org and donate today.
Opening nightclub.
We're not opening a nightclub.
Because on opening night, we always go with our opening night club. Opening night club.
Welcome to the Opening Nightclub Podcast. We are the podcast where we discuss and celebrate local theater every week here in Central Washington. Today, it is my pleasure to have a local theater star and woman about town. I have with me Rachel Powers. Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Kevin.
How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
You are in rehearsals right now for Marvelous Wonderettes.
Yes.
How is that going?
I think it's going well. I love all of the women involved, and we definitely are in the thick of it right now, still working through the end of Act 2, and you know, we have 28 songs and choreography for every single song. And
You're dancing through the whole thing?
We are, or at least moving,
Yeah.
We do. We have a lot of movement, a bit of dancing, and a lot of 4-part harmonies. So,
Would you say that it's more difficult than some of the other roles you've had?
I would in some ways, like as far as like character development, not so much.
Okay.
But musically and just knowing what's coming next, and we all have a mic and we drag our mics all around for the next setup, and with 4 girls and a different girl on lead in every song, or kind of sharing some of those bits. Just every setup is different. So those transitions make it complicated, but also, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you using hand mics? That's what's being used for the audio, or do you have
they're
wireless?
Prop mics.
They're prop mics.
So we will have our mics under our wigs.
Okay. No, hand mics are really hard to use in theater.
Yes, well, these are, 1950s looking mics that we carry around with us. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am super looking forward to it. We're trying to push it a lot on the podcast here, and we want to make sure that everybody who's part of the Opening Night Club comes to opening night of Marvelous Wonderettes, which is October 16th.
It is going to be a ton of fun, and there's so much music that people will recognize and want to sing along. You will have a hard time sitting still.
We recognize all of the songs. Well, maybe my kids don't. Gen Z might not recognize these songs, but I recognize all of them, and my parents grew up on them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for a show to take your parents to, this is the one. Right?
Yes.
I think
there's something in the show for all ages.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to bringing people who aren't really theater folk to the show. They've been doing
All Is Calm.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
All Is Calm. I took my dad to, and I was having to elbow him because he's singing along with all the songs. And so I have a feeling we're going to get some of that in the show.
I'm sure, and I hope so.
There'll be people singing along with your show.
Yes, we do have a little bit of audience interaction as well. Someone might get brought up on stage. There might be...
Oh, you're going to terrify people.
We might. Well, in a good way, but yeah. They'll just get loved on by 4 women.
So I'm glad to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
I was talking to Skylar on the last one, and your name comes up in every podcast because you've been in everything lately. Does that feel like that to you, that you're just busy, busy, busy?
I do feel like I've been busy, and I feel really grateful for it. I also... I've had breaks, and I try to make the most of those breaks and spend time with my family and stay grounded and settled. But yeah, the transition from Leavenworth Summer Theater into Wonderettes was very quick, and I felt like my head was still in the summer, and we started rehearsals for this in August. So it's been just a lot to absorb and go from one straight into the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about Leavenworth is all the rehearsals are done pretty
It's
early.
so true. We were open, but I had, 3 to 4 Sound of Musics a week and then 1 carousel a week. And it's just a lot of material to keep in your head. I was understudying Maria, so I was running that even though I wasn't performing it. So that's at home. That takes up time. And then, I had my Elsa track, which I didn't have to work very hard on once I had that. But Julie was only once a week. So I'm just someone that I have to repeat things to keep them in my mind fresh, especially if I'm going a whole week without performing it.
Well, especially when you're juggling scripts.
Yeah, so
You've got multiple scripts to learn.
Multiple scripts, multiple roles. And then this show, Wonderettes, is a beautiful beast of music. It's so much music and so many parts and just different harmonies to learn. And then there's little bits of dialogue and character stuff in between the songs. It's just jam-packed. So it's just so much material to absorb. And when I had a lot in my brain already, it just has taken me a little longer than I wanted to.
Well, and once a week on Julie Jordan, you're not on stage the whole time, but you are kind of the core character in that one.
Well, there's a lot of heart in Julie.
Yes.
And I think there were, multiple core characters. The couples kind of motivate the show. Definitely just keeping those emotions fresh and being able to bring a full heart each week.
Yeah. Julie Jordan, I think, in that show is the one that all of the audience is rooting for.
Oh.
Well, Billy Bigelow is a mixed character.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And he's in there a lot. But I
think she softens the harshness of
yes.
the story and brings some light and love to what feels like a terrible situation. So, yeah.
So you were also Elsa this summer, and you've done Elsa before outside of Leavenworth Summer Theater,
I did,
right?
yes.
And was your Elsa different?
Well, we did have the songs. Elsa has a couple songs that are in the Broadway show.
Of course.
Yes.
And every time I've directed it, I try to pull in the Elsa Max songs. Every time.
They definitely bring something different that people don't expect to the show if they have only been brought up on the movie.
Yeah.
I like the songs, but they also communicate a different bit of Elsa that if you don't have the songs, you can choose to take the character in different directions.
Yes. And I think that's when I started directing it, Elsa was a very sympathetic character, that she was the spurned woman that the captain just all of a sudden says, I don't want you anymore.
She's kind of the victim of the situation.
She's the victim. And it really is that Maria's come in and the captain casts her aside, which I don't know that the script is written that way, especially when you have the songs. It comes down to there's a political divide. Political
divide and also motivational divide of like where they're going with their life. Elsa in the songs, it's clear that she's very financially driven and class driven and has something to maintain that she doesn't want to lose, where the captain feels his convictions and his heart and his family are what he doesn't want to lose. And so they have a conflict of interest there. And then Maria comes in and she matches that with her heart for the kids and family and her faith and, so.
Yeah, you can't have the audience go away and thinking no one should think the captain should have chose Elsa. I know that you've been playing the role a couple times, but as a director, you can't make her too sympathetic.
It has to be, Maria has to be the heart.
Yes, and the audience, they're there to see Maria.
Absolutely.
The Maria and the kids.
The songs.
That's why they keep coming back. The Leavenworth Summer Theater's figured it out, and they keep coming back. And I know
certainly one thing with Elsa that I tried to bring was just an authenticity.
And that's the important part, is that I think Elsa has to feel like a real person. Otherwise, that conflict isn't really strong.
Also, otherwise, like the minute you meet her, you might not like her.
Yeah.
If she's fake and surfacey. Yeah. And I want the audience to like her and then, go through that emotional shift.
I think Elsa's a really fun character.
I think she's interesting.
Yeah. I think that the scene where the captain and her break up, especially without the song, where they break up and then Maria comes in and he proposes to Maria.
It's a really quick change. It's a turnover.
It's like in a minute and a half that he breaks off an engagement and gets re-engaged. So that's always been one of the most difficult parts of that show.
I will say I think the song helps in that scene.
Yes.
To take the audience from perhaps feeling for Elsa to just like so rooting for Maria. Let's get rid of this woman who's motivated by money.
They've been doing like the live versions on TV, and the BBC version, they go over and Max puts on a record and it starts playing and they do that song, No Way to Stop It. And you can see that the captain's getting more and more upset, and he ends the song by pulling the needle off the record. And it just like stops, like the last bit. They don't have the big number at the end where they're all three singing. It just stops. And it's like, okay, that is the motivation. That says, okay,
he's put his foot down.
He's put his foot down and he's breaking off an engagement at that point, right? It's like, okay, that was pretty strong.
Well, even without the songs, the dialogue does lend itself to enough little moments of recognizing that they're growing apart and that they don't agree. So, I mean, I hope what we were able to bring gave that, breakup that where, this is a little sad and Elsa's sad, but it's for the best.
Yes. You were fantastic. And I'm sorry I didn't get to see an understudy run of you as Maria.
Well, I'm sorry. I never got to do one.
I would love to see
it.
Let's talk a little bit about your theater background. We can go way back to you were a originating member of Leavenworth Summer Theater.
Yes.
And that was back before we did Sound of Music when they started with Hansel and Gretel.
That's right. My whole family was involved. My dad played the dad, and my brother was Hansel, and my sister was the sleep fairy. And I was a gingerbread kid, and John Wagner directed it, and my mom ran the box office. It was the very first year, and it was out of Icicle Middle School is where...
Did you perform in there?
We did, on the stage where we go in and rehearse now. That's where those shows were.
And that was because that was the year of the fires.
Yes.
So they couldn't, you couldn't have gone outside if you wanted to.
No, they canceled a lot of shows because of the fires.
Yeah.
One thing that was a standout memory for me is that John built a flying system so our witch could fly.
In the middle school?
Yes.
Oh, that must have been just dangerous as hell.
Oh, I don't know. We all got a turn to fly one day when he got it all rigged and set up. And my little claim to fame in that show is the witch, when she was all harnessed up and flying, she just couldn't breathe and she couldn't laugh. And so I got to be her cackle backstage. I had a mic that I would laugh as she flew across. I got to be her laugh.
She couldn't breathe and they still used it.
Well, it was very, I've flown in a harness a few times and it is hard to breathe.
Yeah.
Because you're really having to hold that core in and keep your posture up. And she was doing funny poses on the broom and she just felt like she couldn't get the laugh out. So I got to do it.
So what shows have you flown in?
I've flown in Mary Poppins, and I also flew in the regional premiere in the Bay Area of Tarzan.
What?
Yes, I played the mom, the stunt mom at the beginning that drowns. So the very opening of the cartoon is also the same as the Broadway show. The parents are dropped into water at least in our production, we had a big chest and the baby was in the chest.
Okay.
And so our director did an amazing job of creating the illusion of water. And we actually... The guy who played my husband and I, we started the show harnessed up in the very top of above the stage, just hanging there. We got to watch people come in and we're just hanging out up above. And when our moment came, they would drop us. We had a little drop and then we'd catch. And then my character grabbed onto the chest with the baby. He drowned first. And then I let go and flipped upside down and drowned upside down and landed down underneath. We had a big tree that was built for the Tarzan gorilla family, and I would land on the tree and then there'd be blackout and I'd get off. But yes.
So the water level was like halfway down, and so you'd come down to the top of the water?
It was like at the top, yeah.
Okay.
And we had a black sheer sheet in front of us, like a screen. That was blowing with wind.
Yeah.
Like they created some air to move it. And so I think it was very successful in looking like water. But
that sounds so complicated.
It was, but it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I got to do that bit of flying. We also used the flying system for, I think there's like a jaguar scene.
Okay.
And so our cat flew a little bit across the tree and onto Tarzan. They had their little fight and they were harnessed. And yeah, it was pretty magical.
Wow. Okay, that's super cool.
It was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So you did stuff in the Bay Area. You started in Leavenworth. I don't know if you did any other shows at that age.
I was the lead in the 6th grade musical Crazy Camp that Don Smith directed way back in the day. And I did a play in high school, Tell Me You Love Me, Junie Moon. I don't remember the name of my character, but I was in that play. And
are you a Kashmere kid?
I am. I graduated from Kashmere High School, yes.
Go Bulldogs.
Yeah. Well, and like Susan Gupsh is very well known for playing Mother Abbess and LST, and she was my Spanish teacher. I took Spanish from her for 4 years, and so sweet relationship there.
Well, and your father, Paul, played the captain for quite a while.
He did 7 summers in a row, the first 7. Yeah.
Okay. And I remember him, and because he was the captain. He was there every year. And
he played the guitar on stage too. They hooked him in with the orchestra. And
yes.
I don't know if he's the only one. I think I may have heard he's the only one that did that.
We've had a couple that we've tried, and we would get a few strums out of them, and then we'd have the orchestra take over. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
that's
when
awesome.
I hear Edelweiss, I think of my dad, and that'll be that way forever.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Western Washington University in Bellingham.
Go Vikings.
Yes. And I met my husband there. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to study. I knew I loved music. I loved Spanish. Susan was a big inspiration to me with language. And so originally I thought I would double major in music and Spanish, but I ended up with a Spanish major, what would be considered an endorsement in teaching English as a second language. I did a summer program and got those credits. And then I was 8 credits short of a music minor. I did my study abroad to Mexico as a language major. You had to do a study abroad. So I did, it was considered a semester, even though Western's on quarters. I went for a longer period of time. And so I missed fall quarter. And when I got back, if I'd wanted to get all of the credits for music, I missed the first class in the series, and I would have had to stay an extra year to get that class. And so, I mean, looking back, I wish I just challenged it because it was something I probably could have passed. I've played piano my whole life since I was 7.
But really, how often has somebody asked you, do you have a minor in this?
No. I mean, I sang, and I was in choir, and I was in a women's ensemble, and I stayed involved with music, but I didn't do a lot of acting in college. But I will say, when you learn another language, it is kind of the same idea of learning to communicate differently or as somebody else, because you take on characteristics of how someone communicates in another language. Yeah. And so, I mean, even my teachers, they would have puppets and do little puppet shows, and we would turn to our partners and, you create dialogue. We would write sketches, write scenes, and do it in Spanish. So, I mean, that's not the same thing as studying acting, but I felt like I got to play kind of in the same spirit. Yeah.
Where'd you go in Mexico?
I lived in Morelia, Michoacan.
Okay.
And we traveled all over. We had excursions every weekend. And I got to see a lot of it. And there was a group of 7 of us through a school called CMI. It no longer exists. I think my year there was the last year. But it was a really wonderful time. And I loved the people. I lived with a family, and I had a roommate. And it was a wonderful experience.
That's awesome. So you were doing theater in the Bay Area? Were you living down there?
Yes, we lived in Walnut Creek for 10 years.
Okay. And so what groups were you working with down there?
Well, I was extremely blessed to get hired just teaching a fitness class at the ballet school. It's Lorene Fender's the ballet school, and it's run by Jennifer Perry, and my daughter took ballet there. And they had started a performing arts program where adults could come and take acting classes. And I was already taking dance classes there. And then I was just teaching a Zumba class. Jenny was extremely generous and allowed me to come in and do a bit of a trade. And so I got to just take a lot of the acting classes that were offered. And I learned so much from those classes. And Jenny she was a casting director for 2 companies at that time, and just kind of adopted us and said, hey, come out and audition. And the first show my daughter and I at the time auditioned for that she was directing was Joseph in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And we both got in, and So
What'd you play in Joseph?
I was in the ensemble and like dance group. I think I was a wife and ensemble, that she combined all the wives and the ensemble bits. So like I never had a moment. If I was off stage, it was a quick change.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. And that kind of, I hadn't done theater in a long time at that time. So it kind of re-sparked such a joy and a passion for it. And it was fun to do it with my daughter as well. And that was another motivator, is she wanted to dance and perform and develop the arts. So, yeah.
So what you were taking theater classes.
Yes.
What do you think was the most valuable one? What do you think everybody should probably have?
I think the most valuable thing I took away from any of the classes I took was just learning how to build a character and get inside of somebody else's feelings and thoughts and use your own experiences, but also separate yourself enough that you can become somebody maybe not like you. So character development.
Character development. Okay. I know that you are super strong in at least English accents, and you've been really kind to help other people in the shows that you've been in. I know this because I've heard it from other people, and you helped me a lot. I don't know if that was something that you had to study or something you've just developed on your own.
Combination.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a decent ear. Like I can copy something if I hear it, and I really, really listen and study it. But also, I did take. In those classes that I took at the ballet school, there was one a dialect class offered, and by Jeff Draper, who was a teacher at ACT at the time in San Francisco, and he just gave us a plethora of information about everything about the mouth and where the tongue sits, and just so much information about so many different accents, and he was really fun to learn from. I also did a production of Matilda with one of the companies there, and they brought in a dialect coach who travels all over and has, been everywhere, and she's very well known in all over the United States. And so I got to observe and listen to her go through all of her material on the British accent. So, I mean, I've been exposed to that. And then just kind of the format that I observed, I've taken into I had to learn a German accent when I did the 39 Steps, and also a Scottish accent for that show. So I did some of my own research and my own study and kind of applied the same approach. When I studied in college in Spanish, one of my favorite classes was phonetics in Spanish. And we broke down the sounds, and we studied all the different Spanish accents from different the way they say things in different places. And that kind of thing is really fun to me. I love the breakdown of sound and pronunciation and the differences, just little things. And so for me, just the accent work is fun. And I like trying to master something like that. I couldn't do it if you asked me to do it, but I did study it, and I got to coach Polish, Italian. A company in the Bay Area, Hill Barn, actually did a production of The Assassins. And it was after I was already living here. And I met with 3 of their leading men on Zoom to work those accents with them. And that was a great experience and really fun. I took a vocal class with a gal that I'd met down there she's in LA, but she had a whole group of us learning some things. I was working on my voice, and one of the guys in the class was from Italy. And so I took note of who that was and friended him on Facebook. And when I was researching for coming up with the Italian accent for the Assassins part, I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, could you read this for me?" I paid him to read the text.
Oh, perfect.
So that I could listen and hear, and so I do my research.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've really enjoyed getting to participate in helping others find their accent.
No, you're a fabulous resource in town, and I'm glad
Thank you.
that glad you helped me, but I'm also glad that you're here for that kind of work. So you came to Wenatchee, and early, before we started recording, you were talking about you had a radio show here in town. Was that after you came back?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm friends with Carol Covert, who used to run the Christian bookstore Encouraging Words. And she ran the Christian radio station, and she had invited me she had an open spot on one of the days, and invited me if there was something that I wanted to fill that space with. And one of the practices that I really enjoy is called Lectio Divina, where it's a it's an older practice of listening. And so you sit with a short passage, and you listen and listen again and read it yourself. And you're listening for a word or phrase that catches your attention. My husband works for Young Life. And so one of the women that was involved, she hosted a women's day every couple months at her home. And I would get to participate. And this was something I learned from her. And we would do this exercise.
Lectio Divina. How did that work on the radio? Did you have long sections where you weren't saying anything? You're just listening.
That's such a great question, Kevin.
For the word of God to come to you while you were on the radio.
So I would invite a friend, and we would listen together, and then I could go back and edit, and we would spend maybe 5-10 minutes listening.
Okay.
And I would either pause it or come back and edit some of that time out. But
Yeah, 5 or 10 minutes of nothing on the air.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I would encourage listeners, if you're listening, take time to listen and sit and think with this. But yeah, I didn't make the audience wait as long as we took to listen. But also, if it's something that you practice often, you get, just like with anything, you get better at hearing and listening to what's going on inside your heart and your spirit, and being able to recognize the things that pop out and maybe your creator wants to say to you. So
I think that we've got a lot of practices right now. There are practices that may be coming back so that people can be more thoughtful.
Yeah. It also just allows you to be more centered in knowing who you are, what you're about, and what's the state of everything going on inside of you.
Yep.
It makes a difference in how you interact with everybody else.
Mindfulness, that's what it's all about. So you've done a lot of shows since you've been back. I know I met you doing
A Gentleman's Guide.
Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. And but you had been doing some shows. I know you've done the murder mystery shows with Henry Heddick. And I think you ran into Skylar there because he knew who you were.
Yeah, because he was Monty.
Yes.
Yeah, so I met him in A Gentleman's Guide as well.
Oh, I thought you meant him on one of the murder mysteries or
that
something
came
before
later.
that.
Actually, the very first show I did after moving out here was with Henry, but he directed The Foreigner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that with JJ?
Yes, and I played Catherine Sims. And that was so much fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great script.
It was a great script. It was a great role. I had a blast.
Yeah. So here in Wenatchee, and I hope you stay a long time in Wenatchee because you are a great asset to the theater here.
Thank you.
What would you like to do? What are your dream roles? What would you like to do in theater? I know that you teach voice, you teach accents, you teach dance. Are there things you'd like to do?
I love to act. So I want to continue acting. That's my priority. I think at some point I would love to do some more directing. I have vocal directed a couple shows, the teen shows for Stage Kids. I directed or vocal directed Lion King Jr. for their teen summer show. And then they did Newsies Jr. And then Guys and Dolls Jr. I got to assistant direct. So, I've dabbled a little bit. I haven't taken on directing completely on my own. But I think at some point I would like to do that. But not at the sacrifice of missing out on a chance to act. I really love to do that.
So what are the roles you want to do?
Well, my dream role that I have already played twice, but I would love to do it here, is Alice in Bright Star. That is by far my favorite show and something I would love to bring to the Valley here.
Yeah, you were fantastic. I saw you.
You saw me in Quincy.
I saw you for Quincy Valley Allied Arts, which was a great show.
Thank you. Yeah, I love the music. I love the story. It's just, it's a different type of show, different type of music, folk music, and just beautiful. And I've never done Les Mis, and that's been a bucket list.
That's a really hard one to do for community theater.
For sure.
I don't even know if we can get rights to that.
I don't think you can right now because it is on tour, but someday maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'd love to do that show.
You were in Joseph. You want to do narrator for Joseph?
I wouldn't say no to it, but it's not on my bucket list.
That's not your bucket list? Okay. Okay. Well, I was just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to be pretty open to the shows that come along, and I'm grateful for the ones I've got to do. And yeah, there's just so many more great roles out there. I really loved playing Sabella in A Gentleman's Guide with you. That was actually on my bucket list.
Oh.
So yeah, that was fun.
You were fantastic in that. And I think that a lot of it was the accent work that you're able to do. And you do have a fantastic voice that suited that part so well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and also very giving. on stage as another actor. So
thank
you for that. Okay, well, I think that about wraps it up.
Well, the only other thing I would plug a little bit more would just be to come see. I guess we did talk about Marvelous Wonderettes a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah.
That is our next big opening night on October 16th is Marvelous Wonderettes. And we talked about it last week, but I will be getting drinks for people. We'll be having an actual opening nightclub party before that show and probably during intermission. And I'm trying to come up with giveaways or something so the club members can identify each other.
That's fun.
Secret society.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Well, and following that, I am going to be in A Christmas Carol with Henry Heddick.
Oh, there
I'll be
we
playing
go.
Belle. Yes.
Oh, nice.
And people can sing along to those Christmas carols too. So.
They will sing along to that one as well. Yeah, you're still staying busy.
Yes, I'm busy.
Yeah, okay.
But I like to be busy.
Yeah, we've got a big winter coming up. Okay. Well, that's about it for the opening nightclub for this week. Again, we've got shows coming up in October and November and December that we've been talking about, but opening nightclub will be at the Marvelous Wonderettes on October 16th. So until then, go out and see some theater and enjoy the next opening night.